the first thing that happened is that the coroner's office lost Charlie's body. They'd sent various bits of him off to different places in order to carry out various tests. And we were trying to organise a funeral. And they couldn't tell us where he was or when we were going to get his body back. That went on for 6 weeks. And in some ways, I think that was probably second to finding him as we did. It was the most devastating thing that happened, because, you know, the idea that they were kind of chopping him up and sending bits all over the place and all that sort of stuff was just so horrendous and not something I'd anticipated. And we couldn't stop them sending these emails telling us what they were doing with which bits. And Richard desperately tried to get them. He even went into the coroner's office. And Charlie died on the 26th of June. He went in August and said, you know, could you please stop doing this? Again, because we got no answer from them. They didn't reply to any of our emails. They didn't reply to phone calls. Nothing. Communication was absolutely dire the entire way through this process, from the day he died through to, you know, now. They then said they thought the inquest was going to take 2 to 3 days, and they set a date for February 22. And then that was turned into a pre-inquest review, again, a second one, because I think they realised that 2 to 3 days wasn't going to work. And then they set another date, which I can't remember the date of it now, but it was sometime in 23, I think. And finally, they set a date of June, 24th, Monday to Friday. So the Tuesday was the 3rd anniversary of Charlie's death. And they said it was the only week where they had a courtroom big enough and 5 days in a row that they could give us. So we either took that date or we had to delay by anything up to another year. So we took the date. The next thing was that they didn't confirm the date with us until a week before the inquest. So we didn't know whether it was definitely taking place then or not. And so we then had something like 5 working days within which to meet the lawyers, plan everything, all the questions to different witnesses, everything. Had 5 working days. And the night before the inquest, I was up literally all night. I didn't go to bed that night because there was just too much to do. And then we started on the Monday, and obviously the receptionist was quite an important witness, and the court had forgotten to tell him that the hearing was taking place at all. And so the coroner had to adjourn the whole inquest because it wasn't fair to him or the GP to proceed without him having been given notice and the opportunity to obtain his own lawyers and all that kind of stuff. So the whole thing was adjourned, and then the next date we were given, this time we were given about 3 weeks notice of the date, and that was the 9th to the 13th of December. And so like the Wednesday before it was due to start on the Monday, we got an email from our solicitor saying that the inquest, that the coroner's officer had been in touch, and that there was only room for 4 members of the family to attend. So which 4 members would we like to attend, because it was going to be in such a small courtroom, and that everybody else could attend remotely. The chief coroner gave guidance after COVID, I think it was 2022 sometime, saying that it was preferable generally for inquests to be taking place in person with witnesses in person. But where there were exceptional circumstances, it was up to the particular coroner to allow, on application by the witness, for that witness to attend remotely. There are reasons why criminal trials do not take place remotely. They might have procedural hearings, where prisoners don't get brought from prison to court. But when it comes to the actual trial and you're asking questions and trying to get to the truth of things, there is absolutely no prospect whatsoever of any legal system that I know of allowing for those processes to take place remotely. And there's reasons for that. And people have said to me, well, it's not, a coroner's system isn't adversarial, it's inquisitorial. It's trying to get the facts. And my answer is, yeah, it is inquisitorial, and you want the facts. And where there's disputes of evidence, you can't have people giving evidence remotely, because you can't properly assess that person. The size of the room is unreal how small it is. It's so small you wouldn't get a double bed in there if it was a bedroom. This is supposed to be a courtroom.